Hi folks, welcome back to Caricarz.com, and I'm sure many of you remember the GWM Way 80 that was first previewed to us at Clims 2024. Well, it's one step closer to launch now, and today we get an early look of which, but here's the first change you need to know. It's no longer called the Way 80 but the Way G9. And that's not all, because today, in this special preview, we get to see what's actually underneath all this right there. So it is indeed a very rare opportunity for us to see any new car at its bare metal stage, and just before shooting this film, we also had a very in-depth 15-minute tour of this chassis with its large project leader, and there's a lot of things worth highlighting about the chassis of the Wey G9 because it promises to be something very, very different as far as luxury MPVs go. Okay, I'll be brief about the Wey G9's chassis, and untypical of most luxury MPVs, GWM have used a lot of high-strength steel for its construction, number one, because number two, all of which promises better and stronger reinforcements for number three, better safety, and along the way, they've even pioneered quite a number of novelties such as a very novel SNS structural adhesive technique to put everything together. But my most critical part here that I want to highlight is the fact that some of the reinforcements, like this beam running across the roof, is something we've not seen before in the MPV space, and as a result, this roof structure can handle up to 12 tons. And those are just some of the highlights of what the Wey G9 holds at the base of things. Now let's move on over and see how it all fares in a near final product that will launch in our market soon. Okay, let's talk about the GWM Wey G9 in terms of aesthetics and design, and there is no hiding the fact that being a luxury MPV with 3 rows of seats, it is massive. So when there's something that is massive, the challenge is to make it look very, very upmarket and expensive. But I think GWM have done a great job here, especially up front, because up front you see it rocks the mother of all chrome grills. Look how massive this grill is, ladies and gentlemen. I think it's bigger than every other grill I've seen on the road in any other car indeed. And the best part here is that the way this is executed, it is not tacky. In fact, it looks very, very upmarket, very expensive. And I love how GWM have cleverly hidden a lot of its technological features in plain sight in this massive grille, like the forward-facing 360-degree camera, the forward radar, plus some forward sensors in the bottom half of the grille. But otherwise, if you ask me, yes, it is massive, but it is tastefully done. Okay, we're still talking about the front fascia of the Wey G9, and typical of any new premium Chinese products, you can expect that massive grille we talked about earlier to come flanked with a pair of full LED headlights, and the Wey G9 delivers on that. Plus, just to add to the grandeur of the front look, you will notice that on each side of the front fascia, the Wey G9 rocks this very unique set of chrome accents on each side of the bumper too. Overall, like I said earlier, I love the way this GWM G9 looks from the front. Now let's see how it looks like from the side and rear. By the way, have I already mentioned that the GWM Wey G9 is a very large and massive car? This is extremely evident down the side profile, because here's where you see that this luxury MPV actually measures slightly over 5 meters long, and it has a wheelbase of just a little over 3 meters long. Also, speaking of wheels, you also notice that the one we're checking out today rolls on very tasty two-tone 18-inch alloy wheels. Moving to the rear profile of the Wey G9, as you can see, the most interesting part here are the taillight design, which features a full-width LED light bar, plus this very interesting 3 vertical strip design for the main taillight cluster. But really, that's not all. When you look closely, right, inside the full-width light bar I mentioned earlier, there's something called the Wey Crystal Light System, and it features a crystal-like effect for its insert, and I think that looks very, very posh indeed. Speaking of posh, you can see that there's some very nice touches here, like the chrome strip in the window and in the lower bumper. But what really makes this car look very upmarket and expensive is the fact that this entire tailgate is not messy. There's not many badges, big or small, around. All you get is this nicely sized GWM badge in the center of the tailgate, followed by these 2 badges right here in the bottom right. And overall, well, the one thing to make anything look expensive is to keep it simple and minimalist, and I think GWM have done a great job again with the rear fascia of this Wey G9. Okay, let's step inside into the cabin of the Way G9, and I like to start with the second row seats first, and accessing which is easy thanks to powered sliding doors. And voila, check this out, folks. Powered second row captain seats. Well, GWM calls them zero gravity seats because you could adjust them to lie down just like a business class aircraft seat, and they feature ventilation and massage function, on top of which there's even a nice table for you to do some boss work here if you want to, boss. But the other highlight here is, of course, this massive 17.3-inch second row infotainment display. Very nice, very classy. And there's even dedicated controls for the rear climate control over here, plus a massive glass sunroof. So overall, this is really a luxurious and spacious place to be in, and this is the place to be in inside the Way G9. Okay, moving up front into the cabin of the GWM Way 9, and it is fully loaded with all the things you expect out of any luxurious MPV of this size or any luxurious product coming out of China today. And it includes key highlights like this fully digital driver instrument panel, fully digital and very large central touchscreen infotainment display paired with a multi-speaker premium audio system. In the center console, you will find a wireless charging pad, some very nice and classy looking cup holders because of the wood panel finishing here. However, this is not final. We may not see this in the Malaysian car. But what will come in the Malaysian spec car is this massive central storage bin in the armrest that also doubles up as a chiller. And just to finish off the first row amenities, specifically for drivers, drivers are rewarded with power adjustable front seats with massage and ventilation function, plus a digital rear view mirror, and as you noticed earlier, the full wave of sensors up front. This MPV will also offer a barrage of ADAS or active driver assistance systems. Okay, everything we've discussed and detailed about the GWM Wey G9 up to this point is rather typical of any luxury MPV in the market today. But what is not typical is what's under the hood, because this Luxo MPV uses a plug-in hybrid powertrain. The package consists firstly of a 1.5-litre 4-cylinder turbocharged petrol engine, and it works with both an e-motor plus a rather large 44.2 kilowatt-hour battery pack. Said battery pack also has the ability to draw in DC fast charging. In fact, GWM says through DC fast charging, it will charge from 30 to 80% in just 26 minutes. And with electric power alone, the Wey G9 can cover up to 170 km in range, but combined petrol and electric, this package will deliver a combined range of up to 1,000 kilometers. And those are just some of the key highlights of the GWM Wey G9 that will be launching in our market very soon. Registration of interest are open, and I will give you one last factoid. This fully loaded, luxurious and electrified MPV will also be locally assembled, or CKD. Yes, it will be localized, ladies and gentlemen, so we can expect some very, very interesting pricing for which. Let me also add that this is the first time that the GWM has brought its Wey brand for localization outside China, so kudos to GWM on that. Otherwise, I will also add that GWM plans to use this Malaysia-based CKD program to export the Wey G9 to other neighboring markets in the region. But the fact that they're going to CKD it will only mean that we don't have long to wait for it to launch, and it will have, like I said, very interesting pricing. But I want to know what you folks think of this offering. Hit the comments below with your thoughts. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.